Hi people, welcome to another episode of Across the Wave. Across the Wave is a gambling recovery program where we get to discuss, have conversations with industry experts on the need to promote awareness on compulsive gambling and also to foster responsible gambling in Nigeria and around the world. And don't forget that this program is brought to you by Gamble Alert.
Yeah, Gamble Alert is a not-for-profit organization that is out there to stay as an advocate for responsible gambling. Not just that, prevent underage gambling, provide mental aid for bettors, and also to provide rehabilitation and clinical assistance for addicted gamblers. Well, we are super excited to have you join us today in this edition of Across the Wave. My name is Tosin Godwin, and with me...
Yes, and my name is Mayowa, Olaleye, and today we are speaking with Professor Olamakinde, Olapegba. I will be talking briefly about Professor today. He holds a BSc Honours in Psychology, MSc in Social Personality Psychology, and PhD in Applied Social Health Psychology. Professor has worked briefly in Research Officer with National Examination Council, NECO, Nigeria, from where he joined the services of University of Ibadan on June 1, 2000 as an assistant lecturer in the Department of Psychology and was soon promoted to senior lecturer in 2008, reader in 2011, and full professor with effect from 1st of October 2014. He has over 70 publications comprising of chapters and books and articles in internationally acclaimed peer-reviewed journals. He was a visiting lecturer to Adekunle Ajasin University, Akungba Akoko, postdoctoral fellow at the Northwest University, Mafikeng, South Africa. He's also a recipient of ICP Change Fellowship Research Grants from Jacobson Foundation, Canada, and also University of Ibadan Zenith Research Grants. Professor Olapegba has also served in his university in various capacities, which included Subdean Postgraduate, Faculty of the Social Sciences between 2013 to 2015, and also Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences in 2018 to 2020. He's a member of several professional bodies, including American Psychological Association, HAPA, Nigeria Psychological Association, NPA, Society for Personality and Social Psychology, SPSP, and also Nigeria Association of Social Psychologists, ANSP. He's also a member of Editorial Advisory Board, Journal of Cultural Analysis and Social Change, editor of Journal of Positive Psychology and Counseling, and member Editorial Board, African Journal of the Psychologist Study of Social Issues. So yes, I think that Professor is loaded and is the one that could be able to do justice to the topic we are doing today on the psychology of gambling. Welcome, sir, and we are excited to have you today.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, now I'll go to our first question for today. A lot of times, gambling is seen as a form of entertainment. We realize that no one, go into gambling thinking that they will be addicted to gambling. And so today, that would take me to my first question. Why do you think people gamble?
Well, there are a couple of reasons why people gamble. At times, or maybe chief among them is the fact that some people just want to see it as a pastime, just as something that gives them the kicks and all that. It's like watching football, playing table tennis and all of that. And so people could get into gaming, into gambling just for that. But then, more importantly, is that people want to try their luck because it's like something is held out to say, oh, you can get this thing. Yeah, the input is minimal, but then the reward is actually mighty and all of that. And of course, by nature, people want it easy. So once you put something out that, look, with minimal effort, with minimal investment, with minimal input, you can get this big. Now, people are kind of motivated to go after it. And of course, when you look at gambling, when you look at gaming, these are the kind of things you see. I mean, the advert is such that you begin to see some very big and mighty things, things that will take you time to achieve if you are thinking in terms of your legal, your regular income and all of that. But it's like someone coming around and say, look, put 100 naira into this, you stand a chance of winning a car. Now you look at the 100 naira, this 100 naira is so small. I mean, it's something you can just drop anywhere. And of course you put it with the hope of of getting a car. So that is how it all starts. So some people will get into gambling because they see it as a kind of shortcut to achieve certain things, shortcut to get certain things, shortcut to get into enjoyment, shortcut to achieve their dream. For some people, their dream is, oh, I want a big car, I want a big house, I want things like that. Of course, to get such a thing, you need to work very hard and all of that. But then someone is presenting something to you that, look, you can get that dream car, you can get that dream house with minimal input. So these are the reasons why people get into gambling. And to some people, it's just peer influence. Yeah. Yes, okay, my friends are doing it, the world is doing it. Let me also try it. So some people it's an adventure. Some people see it as, some people are quite adventurous. Yes, sir. And when you're adventurous, you want to try new things, just about anything that comes around. And of course, there's something also we call risk-taking propensity. Now, some people, they just love taking risk. They get their kick from taking risk. For example, you talk in terms of mountain climbing. I mean, why would someone just wake up and say, oh, I'm looking for a mountain to climb? Wow. You understand? Right. They get their adrenaline pumping once they see a challenge, once they see a risk. You see people do this one that they do now. You fly into the air, parachuting and all that. Yeah. Now, some people get their kick from doing such things. So, the same with gambling. Yes, the risk involved is what is attractive to some people because they just love taking risk. But for some people, in fact, they see it as a challenge. Yes, sir. Look, this is a challenge, I can surmount it. Yes, that's how some people get into it. And of course, when you talk of gambling, you know there's variants of gambling. You have those who play poker, the cards and all of that. Yeah. And you just see it as a challenge. Look, I can win this challenge. I can win this. So, like I said, people get into gambling, I mean, ordinarily, through different routes. Different motivation. They are motivated by different things. For some, my friends are doing it. I want someone to do it. Some people, they be hearing about it. They want to try it. Some people, they've seen it on television. And they say, oh, I can also try it. For some people, it's just a kind of get quick rich kind of thing. Oh, I can get this thing with minimal input and all of that. Of course, we also cannot rule out the use of media influence. Yes. When you watch films, when you watch some documentaries, watch some programs. Now, some of them are portraying the positive aspect of gambling. You understand? You watch a film and you see this gambler, through gambling, became a millionaire, a multi-millionaire with houses, jumping from one city to the other, doing this and all of that. And of course, that you begin to have this idea that, oh, you can do it. Oh, I can become as rich as Bill Gates with gambling. Yeah. So you cannot allow media influence. Yeah. And of course, you now begin to model such behavior against gambling.
All right. Thank you, sir, for your response. And one question, you talk about risk, like some people, they just love the thrill. Yeah. So I would like to ask the psychology behind gambling. Like I discussed earlier, you are a professor of applied psychology. So I would like to understand the psychology behind gambling, because we've seen a lot of people that, after the first gambling, they tend to go back. What do you think is responsible for this?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's actually what we call reinforcement. Now, the principle of reinforcement just simply says, the layman's thing is that there are consequences following certain behavior. Now, if a particular consequence is positive, then there's a likelihood for that behavior to be repeated. Yeah. You understand? For example, if each time you pass your exam, your dad gives you a present, yes, you are motivated to keep doing what so I can keep passing. The same thing with gambling. People see gambling being reinforced. Now, that reinforcement may not be to you personally, yes, but you see it in the other fellow. Yes. Someone comes down and says, look, now I gambled and I made this. Yeah. Now, you've seen that thing the fellow had made is a reinforcement. So you also want to do it. Yeah. So you go into it and do it. Now, if you are lucky, your first trial can give you something. It may not be as big, but it has given you something. So you begin to say, okay, let me try more. You understand? So people get into gambling, one, because they see a kind of positive reinforcement. and they get attracted through that reinforcement. Now, when that reinforcement is a third-party reinforcement, it's attractive enough. Now, if you now experience that reinforcement yourself, of course, it strengthened the behavior. Yes. You understand? You see, there used to be this, I don't know what they call it now, this gambling machine, way back when we were younger. This one, you put a coin, you pull the lever, the coins, brrr, you understand? Yeah. Now, the Yoruba word for it is kalu kalu. Now, you put a piece of coin, yes, and of course, you see all manner of combination. Or if it is this combination, it will drop 10 coins for you. If it's this combination, it's unlimited. So you put a coin, and you put the lever, and then brrr, and it drops 2 coins. Now, that's a reinforcement. You dropped 1, you got 2. Yes. That's a reinforcement. So what do you do next?
You do another one.
You try another one. You try, I didn't give you anything. You put on the second one, didn't give you anything. A third one, brrr, give you 10. Now, the reinforcement, this is how people get into gambling, because they see the behavior being reinforced. And of course, the other example I mentioned the other time, that, so person gambled, and he won a car. Yes. Gambled and got money. That's also reinforcement. And because it's reinforced, you are motivated to get into it, because you can see tangible things that people are getting from it. Now, where people are going to say, last week, I made 10,000. Last week, I made 20,000. I know the funny thing. The fellow that made 10,000 last week will not tell you how much he had invested. Yeah. Wow. Right. Maybe I had even lost over 100,000 before making that 10,000 last week. But the only thing you want to hear about is, you made something. Let me give you another example. You know, we've had so many, this Ponzi scheme, yes, over the years. Now, a lot of people will come out and say, this thing is true, and say, it is not true. Say, look, I've just collected my own check. You understand? That's a reinforcement. Yes, sir. You've seen that check as a reinforcement. So you're also motivated to get involved in it. And so many people got involved in all those Ponzi schemes just by seeing that kind of reinforcement. And some people got the personal reinforcement themselves that is happened to them. Now, you now see them committing more into it. Why? Because, they've gotten some form of reinforcement. So they think this is actually profitable. So they go into it. So people get into it because there's reinforcement. And at times, you may have actually been an environment that rewards that kind of behavior. For example, if someone makes money through gambling, and everybody in the environment, in society, begins to celebrate that fellow. Yeah. Now they begin to invite him to occasions. You understand? It's being celebrated here, and there praise singers are singing his praise and all of that. Now, that fellow is actually modeling gambling. Yes, sir. Because society is rewarding. The fellow can even get a cheap chance to title. Yeah. So society celebrates that behavior. And of course, what you are telling others is that, look, it pays to get involved in things like this. So you can get involved because of the enforcement, and of course it could be because the environment is modeling it. Of course, if you're in an environment where everywhere you turn to, you see gaming shops, you see gambling spots. I mean, that environment is, and nobody's actually sanctioning. You understand? Yeah. Especially the non-regulated one. Nobody's actually sanctioning. So it's like the environment as it is modeling that particular behavior and reinforcing it. So when the environment is labeled, because the environment has a lot of influence on the personality. So when the environment models it, then you see individuals in the environment get involved in such behavior. Wow, wow, this is deep. Thank you, sir, for sharing that light. But this, I love, one of the things you said that I love so much is the clarification where you're talking about regulation, and there are also non-regulated ones. Yeah, because for us, we understand that gambling can be a form of entertainment for quite a number of persons who understand that, looking at the psychology behind why they gamble. There are some persons that understand that, well, this thing can be just entertainment and it does not get them being maybe addicted or something. But that will lead me to my next question. We have some persons that have become compulsive gamblers. Now, each time they go back to gamble, they go back with the intention that this time I'm going to win. But whenever they lose, it affects their personal life, low self-esteem comes up, and all of these things. What do you think, let me put it this way, at what point, or what do you think gambling leads to mental health disorder? At what point? Well, let me start by saying nobody actually goes into a behavior with the sole purpose of getting addicted. Be it gambling, be it drug, be it alcohol, be it anything. Nobody starts out to say, I want to become an addict.
Okay.
You understand? Many a times you get into it because, one, you are catching your phone. Two, you see people doing that, making something that you also want to try it and all of that. So, I mean, many of the things we call addiction,
Yes, sir.
many a times it starts as a normal kind of behavior and all of that. Even for medication.
Yeah.
People get addicted to even across the counter drugs like paracetamol.
Wow.
Some people get addicted to coffee.
Wow.
You understand? Now, nobody starts out to say, I want to be addicted.
Yes, sir.
You start out because that thing is serving a purpose.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it could be a biological kind of purpose, it could be a social kind of thing and all of that. Some people have become alcoholics today, started out as social drinkers, but today they are hooked. Now, how do you get hooked? When you get into something, and of course you begin to build a dream
Yes.
around that thing, to the exclusion of your career, to the exclusions of the things we were pursuing before, legitimities and all of that. Now you begin to build a dream
Yes.
around such things. Gambling, for instance, that we're talking about. Now, you have a career you are pursuing, but suddenly you got involved in gambling.
Yes, sir.
And now you are not thinking in terms of your career, empowering you to build a house, empowering you to get a car, empowering you to save and become affluent in society. Now you are beginning to build your dreams around fortune you make through gambling.
Yes, sir.
Now it is becoming dangerous. Becoming dangerous now because whatever money you are making from your legitimate business, now you are channeling it here because you believe you can make something big out of it.
Yes, sir.
Now you go to bed thinking about the money you are going to make from gambling, and your waking thought
Yes.
is that today will be my lucky day. All I need to do is to just get some money to put it there. Today, I'm sure today I will get it. Now it is becoming debilitating. It is becoming a mental issue. At this point, this is the thing you are talking about.
Yes,
you are no longer seeing it as a pastime.
Yes.
You are no longer seeing it as something that you are just using to catch your phone on. Now you are seeing it as something that your life depends on.
I get it.
The moment, now at that point you are losing control.
Yes.
You can no longer apply the brakes. You can no longer, when money comes to your hand, you no longer begin to think in terms of, I need to drop money in the house or housekeep. I need to start saving to buy a land. You are just thinking, look, let me just take this money and gamble with it. In fact, I can get like 50 million, then I can just go and buy a house in Bodija and all of that. Now you are becoming addicted. Because now it's starting affecting you cognitively. Yeah. You can no longer think straight. But when you see obvious pitfalls, you can't even see it. You understand? When people are talking to you that, look, take it, say, you don't understand. You tell them they don't understand. Now, once it becomes addiction, it becomes a mental health issue.
Once it becomes addiction.
Yeah, it becomes a mental health issue. Because now, you are not, to use a layman's language, you are no longer thinking straight. You are no longer in control of your actions.
There's something else that is now
forcing you. If you say an alcoholic, he may say, I won't drink again.
Yes.
He may say, I won't drink again. But it's going as it's passing by, he sees a bottle of alcohol. He cannot resist it.
Something
You understand? He cannot resist it. Now it has become an addiction. Another addiction. It has become a mental health issue because this fellow is no longer in control of himself.
Yes,
He's no longer in control of his behavior. Now that particular thing is the one controlling him now.
Wow.
So this fellow now, gambling is what is controlling him now. Even when he doesn't have money.
Yes, sir.
When he has expended all his own personal money.
Yes, sir.
Because he wants to gamble, he goes around to say, look, can you just give me a loan? And it is so bad that some people can even begin to start selling
Their properties.
their properties. That's a mental health issue. You have just one car.
Yes, sir.
and you are willing to sell that car.
So it is that
to
stuff
gamble.
that roused that
Yes.
that is making him even to take that decision.
So he is no longer in control of himself. He can no longer apply the brakes.
And I think this is why some people steal. This is why
Yes,
some
Yeah.
people will steal. People will, some people will steal. When it becomes an addiction, it's like doing seeing a drug addict. When someone is hooked on drug, if he needs a shot, in fact, there's nothing you are talking to the fellow about that is listening. Is configured. Look, I need to just get my shot. I need to just get my shot. So gambling also at some point becomes like that. In fact, if the guy comes to you to say, look, my guy, can you just give me 5,000? I know, and you say, no, I can't give you. He can even begin to fight you. Because that thing had taken possession of him, of his thinking process. It becomes something like, look, if I don't do it, if I don't do it, I can't be well. So that becomes a mental health issue. Because at that point in time, you can no longer get out of it on your own. There should be intervention before you can kick the habits.
Thank you very much, sir. That was quite
It's an
in-depth
intense one, yes.
yeah. Okay. So I believe our listeners are enjoying this. We're just going to go to the next question. Sir, we also understand that gaming can be entertaining. In fact, for me myself, there are sometimes I'm working and maybe the work is getting to a part where I'm not thinking, maybe my brain is I'm like, okay, let me just go play some games, go relax and all of those things. But then we've seen some persons, maybe kids, for example, we could maybe live at home and we give them games to just, concentrate on and play or something like that. But the question I want to ask is, what are the signs you begin to see that make you say this person is begin to suffer from gaming problems, or what are the signs you one can see that you say, oh, this person is beginning to
You see, now the one of the very first signs is that you notice an increase in the frequency of involvement, and you also begin to notice carelessness about priorities.
Yes, sir.
You then begin to notice that this fellow will forsake important things for gaming. I mean, this is someone who's a banker, who's at the till, attending to customers, and he will customers stand there, just see the fellow playing some cards on the system. It's becoming something else.
That point is not even entertaining. I'm sorry to cut you. It's no longer entertaining.
It's almost entertaining. Of course, it's understandable if you've been working since morning and just think you need to debug. I mean, to relax, you need to unwind and all of that. And okay, you bring out your system to just play some game, just to become relaxed. You realize that I haven't done that for like 5-10 minutes. You want to quickly go back
to
what
you were
doing.
Yes.
Now, but if you now begin to find it comfortable to continue playing the game, and you put off the important things, it becomes a problem. Now, with the children at home, when your child now begins to go around, now when the child is playing the game, I say, look, Tade, can you just go to the bedroom and the guy goes with the
game
on the
pad watch and playing the game as it's going.
Now I begin to say, look, something is wrong. Now, have you done the assignment? No, not yet. When are you going to do it? I'll do it. Let me just finish what I'm doing. You understand? It's becoming problematic. So we need to be very, very sensitive. And even for adults, you need to look at yourself once in a while and say, look, how many hours did I spend playing game yesterday? I think something is wrong. You understand? I remember back then, I think 1986, I left secondary school and was in Lagos, nothing to do and all of that. So myself and my cousin were living together, 2 young boys all alone with no cares in this world. And of course there was another guy who the brother had what in Lagos we call chemists. Downstairs. So he slept in the shop. So at night when the brother would have gone to his house to sleep, he would come out through the back door, come upstairs and begin to play the one we call drafts.
Yes, sir.
We'll play intensely. We'll start playing like around 11.
Wow.
And we could play till like 2:30 a.m., 3 a.m.
Wow.
Myself and my cousin, we had nothing we do. We just finished secondary school. We were waiting for result and all of that. So we could play till like 3 a.m. or even 4 times. Of course, we could sleep till like 12 noon. And by 12 noon, we would still go and look for other places to play the draft. Because out on the street and all of that, but we have the board in our home. So the one in our home is the one we play overnight. Now, at the point in time, I realized that time I wanted to sleep.
Yes, sir.
And I closed my eyes. What I will see will be the draft board. I mean, that is what my head was all about. So at the point I had to tell myself, look, wait a minute, what is going on here? So I dropped it.
Yes, sir.
But I was able to drop it. Because again, personality can also come into play.
Yes, sir.
About how you can discipline yourself to close your eyes to silence and all of that. Yeah, if you have a strong enough personality, you could discipline yourself. But for people who are not that disciplined, don't have that strong character and all of that, you just keep going. Some people don't know when to apply the brakes. You understand? So there are telltale signs you are going to see. Even yourself, you notice it. But if you are careless, you say no. You just keep going deeper. But as a third party, you can easily see it in this fellow that look, what is going on here? You were here yesterday for like 5 hours, you are here again for no. Don't know what you are doing and all of that. So these are the issues involved in gambling.
Wow.
Okay, thank you for your response, sir. So, in your previous response, you talk about, people that they do not have the strong will to be able to cut these things. And, if we are talking about children, about teenagers, we know that a lot of them, their brain have not fully developed to be able to know, okay, when am I doing this, rightly? That is why we have parents that should guide them. And then, looking at the world that we have today, we have a lot of working class parents that, they are gone to their place of work from 7 a.m., especially in urban, places in, big cities. 7 a.m. they are gone to their place of work. They would not return back until maybe 9. And the kids only have, games to play, something, something to just, keep them engaged. And this will now lead me to my question. When do you think that, kids, we can say that they could easily develop a problematic relationship with gaming? And how do you think parents should help their children, to be able to, help them to cut their problematic relationship with gaming that would end up leading to gambling?
Yeah, thank you very much. You are quite right when we talk in terms of children and teenagers, youngsters and all of that, that they need supervision and all that. Now, parents should be alive to their responsibilities in terms of setting boundary. And in terms of getting to realize that, look, your career is something, your home is another thing. I need to balance. There should be work-family balance. You must be able to balance it. Now, if your work is so engaging that you leave very early and come back late in the evening, there should be a mechanism in place to monitor your children. You cannot leave them to themselves. If you leave them to themselves, they would become attracted to the gaming. They become attracted to it. So all you need to do, or some of the things you need to do as a parent, is number one, to set boundary. Now, you don't just keep buying games for them. In fact, a lot of people do it because it's like a substitute. They're using the games, computer games and all that, as substitute for the parents. I'm not around, this is around. No. That is wrong. You must set boundary. Now, if they're not going to be around, when they come back from school, design things to keep them engaged. Are you going to get a lesson teacher who comes around? Are you going to get somebody who's an adult to stay with them? You must do all of this. And when you come back, you do a review with them. What have you been doing since you came back? You have to supervise them. Because what you are trying to do, yourself and the school, is that you are trying to shape the personality that is emerging. Now, if the school is trying to do its own, and the parent is lacking in his own, there's a lacuna. It's not balanced. You understand? And of course, we are in this age where we think the children must have whatever they want. So a whole lot of parents don't even know the point in time when their children get involved in certain things. You understand? I mean, we have homes where they will say, okay, when school is in session, no DSTV subscription. So no television while school is in session. It's only during the holiday. We have homes where they will say, look, until you finish your secondary school, no phone. But you want to do assignment and all of that, you have access to your parents' phone. These are boundaries you can set.
Parents need to hear.
And make sure that you are monitoring what they are doing. You check up on them in school, you talk to the teachers, and you attend parent-teachers association meeting and all of that. So you need to begin to check them. I need to talk to them about the evil in all of these things. Now, you've seen gaming and all of that, talk to them, okay, it's for fun, but then, you know, it can be problematic, you can do this, you can do that. You point it out to them. Because the more you talk to them about such things, the more they begin to see the things in the right perspective. You know, this information age.
Yes, sir.
They watch adverts on television, they watch adverts on the internet and all of that. So they can become easily carried away.
Yes, sir.
They can become easily carried away with what they see. But you need to counter it. So you put it in the right perspective for them to understand. So, I mean, the parents should have that proper oversight over their children. And of course, again, the society. By society now, I mean even government policies and regulations. Now, in gaming, I know there's an age limit.
Yes.
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 The operators,
Yes.
are they ensuring it? You see all manner of kiosk all around for gaming, for betting, and I see underage children going there.
Yes.
Are the operators keeping to the spirit and the letter of the regulations? Now, those who are supposed to be the watchdog, the regulators that will have oversight over the operators, are they also doing it? And that's where society comes in. The society should do that proper oversight. That look, if you're a gaming operator and we find an underage person in your outlet, then we are going to withdraw your license. We're going to prosecute you. Now, well, thank God for what do you call it now? This identity card now.
Yeah.
NIN.
NIN.
There's nothing wrong in saying, okay, you are coming because you won't get your NIN. I mean, present your NIN before we allow you. At least for people who you cannot readily say this is the age that they are of age. Can request, well, can I see this? Before you are allowed. These are mechanisms we should put in place. Because in these formative years, they are still very young, their minds are not fully formed and all of that. So they can get easily carried away by all manner of stuff. You understand? So that's why I said the society needs to do proper gatekeeping.
Yes, sir.
And of course, in addition to that is that there should be proper education. And don't just make it media education.
Okay.
The regulators and the operators need to go to the schools. Go and talk to the students in school. In fact, it could be part of the curriculum. I mean, the civic education and all. It could be part of the curriculum. Then go to the marketplace to even talk to people about it. Talk to them about the fun side of it, but talk to them about the negative side of it too.
That is one thing Gambling Alert is doing.
I know. Gambling Alert. You know, Gambling Alert is a private initiative.
Yes, sir.
I'm talking of
Sectors.
the sector. Yeah, you understand? Government is a regulator. Let government do the right thing. The operators also have a responsibility to the society. Because if it's not regulated, then you are destroying people. And that is so something that you brought up as fun to help people and all of that. If it begins to destroy lives, then it's now counterproductive.
All right. Okay, so this will take me to my next question. You know, for people that are compulsive gamblers, their family, their loved ones, you know that, you know, when people are addicted to gambling, they are not the only one affected, right? You know, there's even like a quote that talks about, you know, when people are addicted to gambling, about 6 to 10 people are affected, their family, their loved ones. So now, you know, we have people that they're addicted to gambling and their family really wanted to help. They want them to be able to seek help. But, you know, again, in also trying to help them, they also reinforce the behavior by when the compulsive gamblers come, oh, borrow me this money. You know that the person wants to go and use it to gamble, right? But you still have to give it to them because maybe they lie to you that, oh, it's for my well-being and all of that. So my question is this: how do loved ones or family members of compulsive gamblers, how do they also take care of, you know, this addict and also meet their own personal needs?
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, you know, there is saying in my place that if your next door neighbor is eating something that you should not eat, and you pretend as if you are not concerned, Now, when that thing begins to trouble him in the middle of the night, and he begins to throw up or he begins to cough or manner of things, that disturbance will not allow you to sleep. Yeah. That means we should be our brothers and our sisters' keeper. If you know that your friend or your loved ones is going overboard in terms of gambling, begin to apply the checks, pull him back, apply the brakes, talk to him about it. If you need to involve other people, involve other people. Now, don't reinforce that behavior positively. You know this fellow is going to use the money to gamble, and he says, no, please just give me. Yes. You should, even when the money is with you, tell the fellow, I have the money with me, but I'm not going to give you this money. Because when you give him the money, you are positively reinforcing gambling as a behavior. And the fellow will always come back, if not to you, but to someone else. Because you are reinforcing it. But we tell the fellow, I can't, I'm sorry, I have money, but I won't give you. If I had spent my own money on gambling, you'll be able to come to me. Now that's like a shock treatment. The fellow may be able to go and reflect on it and say, she insulted me. Is it because he may begin to have a rethink? So, you have a moral burden, a moral responsibility to refuse to reinforce a negative behavior. You understand? Don't say, no, I don't believe in it, I can't do this. So these are the kind of things we can do. And of course, if it's your friend, and you've talked to this friend, and this friend is not listening, you know the parents, go and report the fellow to the parents. You know either the pastor or the imam, go and report the fellow. You understand? When you, I mean, these are ways of trying to help this fellow to deliver himself from himself. You understand? And also in some instances, when the thing has become an addiction, it has become a mental health issue, you may seek help for the fellow. Encourage the fellow to seek help. Yeah, because I mean, we've seen people ruined by gambling, we've seen people ruined by all manner of addictions and all of that. And partly because people should take action. They don't take action. For example, if a man is gambling and the wife is aware, and of course that thing is affecting the home already, she should cry out. She should cry out. Because if she does not cry out, she will suffer. The children will suffer. Other dependents will suffer as well. And of course, you never can tell, because when something is an addiction and has become a mental health issue, even this fellow that is gambling can end up committing suicide. Yes, sir. So these are the issues we should look at. And that is why we should not say we are not concerned. And of course, don't cover up for somebody. Your husband is gambling and it's affecting you already, and you are still covering up for him. Then your suffering will continue. And then the children will also suffer. So, I mean, you need to, when you've done all within your power to salvage him and you realize that, look, you cannot handle it, he has friends you can talk to. Because for some of these people, they hide it. Yeah. Some of them, especially the adults who have regular, they hide it. So talk to him. He has a friend you can talk to. He has parents, he has uncles, he has siblings you can talk to. He has a pastor and imam somewhere you can talk to. You are trying to help the fellow. So these are various ways you can help. And of course, again, I'll come back to government as a stakeholder. That government should also do sensitization in terms of in terms of access to mental health solution. And of course, the society at large also would then need to do away with stigmatization. You know, today when they mention mental health, who begin to talk in terms of someone that has gone mad. No. It is much more than that. Now, if there's a behavior you think you want to stop, you can't stop. You can walk in to a mental health professional to say, look, I actually wanted to quit smoking. I've not been able to quit smoking. I need help. I actually wanted to stop drinking. I've tried. I keep going back. I need help. You understand? This fellow had not gone mad. So if society also is able to lessen or eradicate stigmatization, you understand? That people can walk in to see a clinical psychologist, walk in to see a psychiatrist, I mean, without being stigmatized. then people will be willing to go.
Yes, sir.
People will be, in some instances, it is even the family members that will not want their loved one to even go and say mental health pressure. They will say, yes, sir. So these are the issues. Yes, so government also should put it in the front burner that look, mental health issue is not the end of the world. It doesn't mean someone is mad. You understand? So when that is done, then people can seek help quite easily.
All right. Wow. Prof, you've said so many things.
Yeah, right.
And I'm really thinking our viewers right now will be having quite a lot going on in their minds. And I'm sure that there are a lot of viewers that will be asking this question I want to ask you now. By the way, Prof, you've dived into the question already. And I'm feeling so sweet inside. But just for the sake of those who are viewing, because quite a number of our viewers are like, wow, there's something they want to get. There are a lot of us who are going through what you just said, but internally they don't have that capacity or that strength to come out and say, oh, I'm suffering from this, I'm suffering from gambling. So I would like to ask you, Prof, can gambling addiction be treated? If yes, maybe you can just say one or two things that our viewers can take home, and that would be all from me.
You know, it's a behavioral problem. It's a behavioral problem that's not affecting the individual very, very badly. So it is treatable.
Okay.
Once you go to the right channel. Once you go to the right channel, it is treatable. I mean, identify a mental health clinic or institution with qualified personnel and working. It is treatable. We've seen people who are addicted to gambling who later stopped because they went for help. It's just like people who got addicted to drugs, to alcohol and all of that. And you've seen a lot of them talking on television saying, look, I used to be an addict, but now I've been handling that. So, I mean, it can be treated. It can be treated. You see, people should not see it as a big problem.
Yes, sir.
People should see, it's just like becoming addicted to coffee. Some people, if they don't take coffee before 8 a.m. in the morning, they can't do anything. They will lose it.
Wow. And
they can graduate from taking a cup of coffee in the morning to have to take another one by 12 noon. By 3 they must take out. Before they go to bed, they must become that addicted. And of course, it begins to affect function. So when you have these behavioral patterns, that's not problematic. That has become what the what you use the other time, obsessive compulsive.
yes, sir.
You know, it is treatable. But you need to identify the right personnel to have, or the right institution to go. So it's not the end of the world. If anybody has anyone who's suffering from gambling addiction, all of that, I mean, just walk into any.
And I think Gamble Alert is one of the places they can.
Right.
Gamble Alert, of course. Of course, I'm sure Gamble Alert would give you referral if need be and all of that. I mean, counseling would do all of these things. At some point, some form of therapy would do, and all of that. Yeah.
Okay, so this will lead me to my last question, sir. We know that, like, I want to talk about examples that we've seen from Gamble Alert. We've seen like an elderly man, an elderly man in the sense that this man has grandchildren, and is addicted to gambling. Whenever they give him money for his well-being, he goes, go back to gambling. And then we are like, okay, for people that they referred him to us, okay, how do we help this man? And then they were like, oh no, we can get him to see a counselor, we can get him to see a therapist. And they're like, oh no, this thing is not cheap, because actually we know. Because if not for the fact that Gamble Alert is a non-governmental organization that will try to, meet with, have partnership with mental institutions that will take care of these people, we actually know that seeing a therapist do not come cheap.
Yes.
Now, we also now think, okay, so if sports betting companies that, make money from this thing, how about we say that, or how about we talk it to the regulators to say that, yes, we know that every business is called to make profits, but what about they giving back to the society by saying that, okay, we know that we make money from this thing, and then we want to be able to say that a little profit that comes from this, they want to be able to support the government, to create communities, to create or to fund mental institutions that will take care of people that are addicted to gambling. So now my question is also, do you also agree that we should have sports betting companies should be able to give back to society by providing, by funding mental institutions that take care of gambling addicts?
Well, I agree totally with that. Of course, it's not even appealing to them. I think it should be a policy issue. You see, number one, it could be considered as part of their, well, at the first level where you brought it, it could be considered as part of their corporate social responsibility, giving back to society. Yeah. But at a higher level, there should be a responsibility that, look, you are making business, this is your business, you are making money from this business, but then there are fallouts. So you need to set aside a certain amount of money to take care of people who get into trouble by patronizing you. You see, it's like the oil company now. Government has made it compulsory for them, at least to budget money for incidences like oil spillage. If there is oil spillage, they have to take care of it. And of course, they also invest in mechanisms that will easily contain spillage when it occurs, and to safeguard the environment and all of that. The same thing should be applicable here. The government can begin to say that the betting companies should pay probably 1% of their profits after tax or before tax, or 2%, whatever thing, on set aside for issues like this. And of course, government will use it to fund certain mental health institutions, so that when people come to gamble, for instance, you know where to refer them to, and they will access care at highly subsidized rates. I think it should be a policy issue. If you are making money from something, and that thing you are making money from is also creating a problem, then you should be responsible for taking care of that problem. I don't think it's out of place. Yes, sir. So betting companies can do certain things because as part of their corporate social responsibility, but this one should go beyond, because for CSR, nobody can arrest you for not doing it. You may do it, you may not do it. It's your initiative. But this one should be a policy issue, that you must pay certain percentage of your profits into a particular pool, which government will use to set up units in mental hospitals dedicated to treating gambling addicts, so they can access it for almost free. So I think it should be done. I think it should be done.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Professor, for having us. Thank you for shedding light to all of our questions. Thank you for I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. I've also learned a lot from what you have said, and I believe that our viewers as well, they will have be jotting down and taking things into action, as well as their loved ones, loved ones of gambling addicts. All right. Okay. I think we've come to the end of the show today. Thank you for having us, Prof. I don't know if you have any other ending notes before we'll round up.
My parting shot is actually that all of us are stakeholders. We should be our brothers' keepers, and we should self-regulate ourselves in the things we get involved in. We should never lose sight of our priorities. The moment we feel that we are getting off course, we should be able to self-regulate and bring ourselves back on course. And of course, let's look out for our brothers, those we need to talk to, those we need to counsel, those we need to help, those we need to refer. Let's do just that. Thank you very much.
Having us, and thank you so much, our viewers. Thank you for staying tuned with us. Till we come your way again next time. Don't forget that this program is brought to you by Gamble Alerts. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.